What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and I've just posted my reaction to the Roy Jones Jr. Little gameplay snippet things. I thought we would just break little bits down for you guys just in case you guys didn't see things, because people are going crazy in the Discord talking about it. So I thought, you know what, we'll just quickly break a few things down that you may or may not have missed, just to kind of, you know, just so everyone's in the loop and there's nothing, because sometimes you get these bits of gameplay, then in like 2 months people will go, when was that shown? And it turns out it was shown like 2-3 months ago. So let's just get into it. I'm just going to be showing you guys little clips throughout this. We didn't see too much. It was actually about 30 seconds of gameplay. And then the next part we saw was about a minute of gameplay, but it was just the same gameplay slowed down. So obviously we saw the Roy Jones Jr. model be created and de-aged and stuff. And then we got to see this. And just off a start, just while we watch it a couple of times through, it looks incredible. It really does. And people weren't expecting something, I don't think, this small. But you guys have to remember, this was from a third party channel. This wasn't on the ESBC channel. There was no talks of huge gameplay. We saw a little bit of gameplay here. This is gameplay. That is the way it is, unfortunately. So, I mean, I have no real issue with what we've seen here. I think it's fair for another YouTuber to kind of, you know, get an exclusive. He's not going to get like a release date, is he? He's not going to get 6 rounds of unedited footage between Canelo and Plant. It's just not going to be the case. It's always going to be something like this. So without further ado, let's just get into it and stop waffling. Let's crack on. One thing I want to point out right off the start, as you can see in the center of the thing, it says Coldwell Boxing, established in 2000. You can see that in the center of the ring right there. And that is Dave Coldwell's gym in Sheffield. This is the gym it is based off of. So clearly, you know, a gym will be somewhere where we can train. And obviously, Dave Coldwell is also a trainer in the game. So it's cool to see an actual gym with an actual logo on the center, not just like, you know, a Steel City Interactive badge taking up 2/3 of the ring. It's nice to see an actual gym badge logo in the center. You know, nothing fancy about it. Just simply that. I think that is brilliant. The next part I want to show you guys is something we probably all saw, but I still want to show you guys anyway, is Roy Jones Jr. reflection in the mirror. We can actually see in the mirror, we can actually see the window. And then we can see out the window. We just see a brick wall, admittedly, but still, the detail put there, that it's not just the blinds have been drawn. It's daytime, you can see that there's stuff on the windowsill. There's a radiator. It's little bits of realism like that. And we can see Roy Jones's back, matching it perfectly. It doesn't look funny. You can see, you know, basic gym, you know, dirt on the mirror. You got the shadow on the mirror as well. You can see the reflection of the yoga ball, the reflection of the ring, and like I said, the reflection of Roy Jones Jr. there, which is one thing that I noticed right away was the mirror, and I just think that looks so cool. I just think we don't see a reflection often in video games, like, especially not in like boxing games like this. We don't see, you know, in part of the clip you can see almost like fingerprints and handprints on the mirror, like just, I suppose, basic dust and dirt on the mirror, you know, from just being in a gym, I suppose, as well as other mirrors you can see have the reflection of some of the kit off them. So just little things like that I just think is really cool. Just, you know, we have the full reflections. I know that's stupid, but I just thought it was really cool, and I thought that's something I would point out right away. On top of obviously the ring as well. Another thing I will point out, and I'll slow down for you guys, whether or not this means anything or not, I don't know. But in the background, we can see 3 posters hanging up: Ring of Fire, Super Fight, and Fight Convention Boxing. We see Pryor, we see Argrello, and then we see Hearns and Hagler, which obviously is Thomas Hearns and Marvin Hagler. And then we see Gary Carsten against Sam Bunker. So we get to see a little bit of posters, you know, a little bit of, I suppose, just gym decoration, which in my opinion is awesome. Nothing too fancy there. I mean, the last time I pointed out little hints was the Muhammad Ali poster in one of the original gameplays. He ended up being announced. Then there was one of the transitions in the first fight announcement. The transition involved Katie Taylor, which I pointed out. She ended up being announced. So I'm just going to go off this and just say, is there a possibility here, guys? Is there a possibility that we could get Pryor, we could get Hearns, we could get Hagler? Those are the 3 that I know mainly. I apologize if I don't know the other 3 and you guys are offended by that. Those are the 3 that I know mainly. But, you know, that could be something just to look out for in the future. Now, obviously, just the general background, we have, you know, we have heavy bags. We have, bags that are drilled onto the wall that are kind of for uppercuts and hooks. I don't know what they're called, little red ones. I'll try and, like, really slow it down on it for you, because you can kind of see it in the reflection of something then behind Roy Jones at one point. We can see the ladders for the footwork. We've got a fan. We've got a Cleto Rays sticker in the background. We've got some, what look to be a bit like pec deck in the background. Maybe some kind of chest exercise and possibly a a try push down or something in the background, as well as a speed bag, an Empire Pro tape sticker in the back. Like I said, windows, blinds, boxes, a tyre for flipping, like I said, heavy bags. So, you know, lots going on in the background of this gym, which is what you want. You can see more posters in the distance that I really just can't get a grasp on. I cannot see what they say at all. Looks like it says Chavez versus Taylor in the far background on one of the snippets. And now let's go on and focus on the boxer himself. We focus on the things around, like we've got the round clock there near the fire exit door. We've got the mirrors. We've got the thermostat on the wall. We've got the bottle of water. We've focused on all that. We focus on the thing in the middle. Now let's focus on Roy Jones himself. Obviously, got the basic the basic boots on. Sorry, the basic white gloves. I believe they were trying to recreate one of. I'll try and get the image up of Roy Jones here. I believe they were trying to recreate this with his white gloves and red shorts and stuff. So, you know, we've got. Let's focus on him. Let's just look at him and what he does. Little subtle movements, hands twitching. Those hands are always twitching. And then it cuts to the next clip where he's a bit more rowdy there. He's a bit more faster on the movement. Arms open, puts his arms open, kind of eggs someone on. But you see how he's taunting, touches his forehead, put that backhand up to his forehead like that. But he's always moving. It doesn't slow you down to taunt. He is almost taunting at a faster speed. And then he picks up the speed a little bit as he rotates around the ring. You know, those hands always moving, that little bit of head movement there. Then he drops that lead hand a little bit and moves around. It's like a constant flow. I think that's the key here when we watch this. I'll try and put it in maybe a bit of slow motion for you guys. But it is a constant flow. When he picks up that speed a little bit in like the second half after he taunts, I'll try and slow that down for you guys, the second like 2/3. And he's flowing with his taunt, and that front arm drops, and his backhand goes up to his forehead, and then he's moving around, and those arms are jittery. He's just flowing, and that's what we need. We don't need stiff, stagnant fights. He's flowing nicely. You can even see his thigh muscles there really moving when he pushes on that front leg, which is crazy. You can actually see their muscles doing their job when the lighting is right, which is absolutely fucking insane that we can actually see the muscles doing the work. Obviously, we can see his skin tone correctly off the light, so you can see when the light is on his back a little bit, he's slightly lighter, and then when he goes around, obviously the shadows on his front, so obviously gives him a slightly darker complexion. And then when the light goes back onto his shoulder, we can see parts of his shoulder and parts of his muscle definition slightly better due to the lighting, which, I mean, it's just, oh, come on, man. There's a lot to see here. There's a lot to be excited about here. Lots of movement to be excited about. The way he flows, the way he moves. Like I said, not to mention the you know, where the arena is. It's not even a big arena, it's a gym. But it feels like a real gym. It's alive. It's messy. Like I said, there's boxes on the windowsill. There's shit on the radiator. There's the stop clock is just on the side next to the fire exit. There's a random yoga ball. If you guys have been to a gym, any gym, you know there's shit about. If you guys have been to a boxing, you know, a proper boxing gym, there's shit about everywhere. There's often head guards on the floor or gloves on the floor or a random yoga ball, random medicine balls about the place that the coach might randomly notice and decide to hit you in the stomach with for your ab training. That's what happened to me. Like, you know, all this shit just happens. And, you know, it sounds stupid, but even like things like you can see that there's plug sockets. I know that's really stupid and minuscule, but it's little details like that, and people say I don't care about these little details, but in the end you do, because you're watching it and everything is happening for a reason. All these little details, they go in to build the immersion of the game. That's what it's about. It's about realism. So if we had a super realistic fighter, but we're fighting on the moon, it wouldn't feel realistic no matter how real the fights were. We need realistic, not terrains, because that's more like battlefield. We need realistic venues, realistic areas, realistic gyms to add to the immersion of the realism of the fight. If not, you've got super realistic fights, but you're fighting on Jupiter. It doesn't make sense. Or, you know, instead of training in a gym, you're training in Madison Square Garden with 80,000 people watching you. It doesn't make sense. You wouldn't train in Madison Square Garden on the main event, would you? And you wouldn't have a title fight in a back garden. You just wouldn't. And that's what I mean, is things like that. And if we just watch his movement one more time, we can just see he's constantly flowing, bit of a taunt, puts that arm up, you know, he's got the left hand down for a little bit. He's just moving around nice. It's real smooth, real slick, and he just flows, man. And I just think it's brilliant. I really do. I think it looks bloody brilliant, I have to say. You know, I don't want to make this video just because, you know, I saw people being like, that's a bit underwhelming, but people expecting too much, man, and there was nothing to really expect. You know, we knew what was going to happen, we knew what was coming, and I think sometimes you just have to accept it and just say, this was a third-party channel. We weren't told we were going to get loads anyways. Don't expect loads, just expect the minimal. And when we got creating a legend, I was surprised we even got gameplay at all. I generally thought it was just going to be creating Roy Jones and then it would move on and that would be it. But we got this, and I'm more than happy with this. This looks sick. And yeah, but I just thought I'd show you guys this. You know, maybe we could talk about it in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and yeah, man, let me know if there's anything you guys spotted. I'm just looking on, obviously, you know, you can see on like the heavy bag, the Steel City Interactive logo and stuff, but there's not really too much. Obviously, we can see Roy Jones's, the glistening on his shorts, for example, the WBC logo on his shorts as well, things like that, you know, his Empire Pro tape on his gloves. You know, he's got the hair, the beard, everything's so iconic. He's in, like, perfect fight and shape. He looks awesome. He really does. He looks really sick. Shout out to the guys at Steel City Interactive. They've done a smashing job. Hope they're all really proud of themselves. And yeah, I'm going to end it here, though, guys. Thanks always for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.